For this event are a class of their own and include Mr. Kamran Rizvi, Mr. Suhail Zindani, and Mr. Hassan bin Rizwan. I am particularly thankful to Mr. Kamran Rizvi, who has been one of the most senior HR resources in our countries, and for his continued support to Terrabiz events. I'm extremely grateful to all the speakers who have accepted our invitation to be a part of HCM Lahore 2009 and gathered here from various parts of the country. Some of the key issues which will come under discussion today are workforce planning, employee engagement and branding, recruitment strategies, high performance cultures, HR leadership strategies, and trends in training and development. Without taking up much of your time, I would like to invite you all to register for the upcoming 12th Management Convention of the Management Association of Pakistan, which will be held in Lahore in October 13th, 2009. This event promises to be the biggest corporate summit in this city, with the speakers and panelists coming from across the world to discuss management strategies for business. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you once again for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamza. You can't think of any better start. To start off the day, we have one of the most exciting human resource professionals that we have in this country. Please put your hands together for Paul Kiezer, who's the Chief Executive Officer, Engage Human Resources, and he'll be talking on employer brand engagement and branding, key business driver of organizational success. Mr. Paul Kiezer.
I'm not sure whether that means that I have to run up these stairs as well, but I'm a bit safety conscious. I just put up these two back. Oops. It's quite wobbly. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Kiezer. I've been in Pakistan for 7 years, and I've localized so much that I'm able to dance Daisy Girl for you on the stage if you want me to. My Urdu is still pathetic. Although if you start abusing me, I might understand what you're saying. But that's about the end of my Urdu skills. Those 7 years in Pakistan has been extremely rewarding. And a lot of people always ask me, what on earth did you first of all come? And I came about 2 weeks after the start of the Iraq War, which to the credit of my parents, they were pretty nervous about. They still let me come, and I've never left ever since, and never looked back. The first 4 years was, as you probably know, with Unilever, in which I spent about 18 years in the HR field. And then I decided to see where I can fly on my own. And I must say that has been an immense rewarding decision. And in May 2007, together with Junaid Essen and Farah Nassim, we started Engage Human Resources. And the main reason for that was two things. Of course, because first of all, I love Karachi. But always when I come to Lahore, I think, oh, sorry, I wanted to say something bad. I think, oh my God, Lahore is so much greener and so much more livable. And the good thing about Lahore is they don't have KESC. So from that perspective, I'm always tempted to come to Lahore as often as I can. But then, of course, the business is in Karachi, my business is in Karachi, my family is now in Karachi, and I've become as much a Karachiite as possible. So, but the main reason I stayed behind and set up this company was primarily to do with the huge opportunity that's there in HR. And I think over the last 7 years, I've seen HR in Pakistan grow with a tremendous pace. And all of us have realized that I think we're on the forefront in terms of career progression as an HR function compared to almost any other function that is there, which therefore means that we've got huge opportunities to make a difference. And there's a lot of people that starts to listen to us genuinely. And I've got now the opportunity to influence quite a few companies. We've been working with about 75 different companies over the last 2 years, from recruitment all the way to what I call strategic leadership interventions. So I've been very lucky and blessed to have been welcomed with that much regard and appreciation. Thank you very much for doing so. One of my favorite topics is employer branding. And the reason that's a favorite topic is because I think every organization, and I'm going to ask you this question, every organization in Pakistan, and I want you to raise your hand, who of you have as your main HR objective to become a company of employer of choice, or to become the most preferred employer in either your industry or in the country? Who of you have got that as your HR strategic objective? I see one company there, two companies, about 15, 20 different companies. The interesting part, of course, is that out of those 20, only one can become the most preferred employer in Pakistan. But I promise you that many of you already tell your bosses, we're almost there. We must be almost one of the most preferred employers in Pakistan. Unfortunately, until 2 years ago, there was never a proof of who's got the most preferred employer. And that's where we saw an opportunity, not only to make a difference, but also to do something for the HR function as a whole. So in 2007, we first launched what we called the Most Preferred Graduate Employer Survey. And last year we added to that the Best Place to Work survey. And basically what you're talking about is, in order to become an employer of choice, you need an external perspective, for which we've done a survey around graduating students who they think is their most preferred employer. And on the other hand, you can look, on which we've done a study of about 1,100 students last year. 1,100 students across 27 different universities, covering business students, IT students, and engineering students. And there were 1,100 face-to-face interviews. And you can imagine that's quite a bit of work to visit 1,100 students and to ask them about a number of different questions with regards to who's your most preferred employer. I hope that through the communication that we've done, you now know who's the most preferred graduate employer in Pakistan. Do you? Who's the top 3? Guess. Shell? Telenor? Nestle? Coming from the Nestle table. Who is the most preferred employer in Pakistan? Sorry? Unilever? Other question. If I ask you the question, if you've got a choice of any company to work for in Pakistan, who would you like to work for? And you don't have to say your current company because your boss is sitting next to you, okay? That's all right. You have to exclude your current company. But who would that be? Who would that be? Who's top of mind? Comes to mind saying, that's a great company. That's absolutely true. Thank you very much. I give you the bonus afterwards. Who else? Who else comes to mind? Well, 1,100 students chose the following 3 companies. The following 3 companies, the first one was Unilever. The second one was actually Microsoft. And the third one was Mobilink. And the 3 per different categories were Siemens, Microsoft, and Unilever for Business. And obviously, having worked for Unilever, it sounds a little bit ominous that suddenly Unilever comes on top of that survey. So I can understand that you have got a few question marks. But I can promise you, any one of you that wants to go through 1,100 surveys is more welcome to go through the stacks that I've got at my office in order to count the numbers. But Unilever is being seen by graduating students as the most preferred employer. However, asking graduates, graduating MBA classes, graduating engineering classes, graduating IT classes, who is your most preferred employer? Top of mind, yeah, so without showing any list of companies. Of course, that's driven by a lot of perception. It's very much to do with how much advertising, friends, campus drives, etc.